The Battle of Okinawa took place in Japan on April 1st, 1945, and ended on July 2nd, 1945. The battle for Okinawa was fought between the U.S. and Japanese for the control of the four major air bases. Okinawa is one of the largest Ryukyu Islands in Japan, and it served as an air base and front line of defense for the Japanese Empire during World War II. Most of the island was also known for its sugarcane, which was then converted into alcohol used for torpedoes and engines. On the American side, about 180,000 troops were involved, and the Japanese had over 130,000 soldiers on the island. With these numbers, this battle would turn out to be the bloodiest battle of the Pacific War and the last major campaign.
There were many commanders in charge of this battle. For the Japanese, Mitsuru Ushijima controlled his men, the main ones being Isamucho, Minoru Ota, Keizo Komura, and Hiroji Miyahara. At the end of the battle, officers including General Ushijima committed ritual suicide and beheaded themselves. Kono Yahara asked the general permission to commit suicide, but the general refused and told him, "If you die, there will be no one left who knows the truth about the Battle of Okinawa." On the American and British side, there were the commanding officers Simon Buckner, Roy Geiger, Philip Ivan, and a couple more. The main one was Raymond Spurrance, who was in charge of the Fifth Fleet. Fifth Fleet was divided into several task forces and groups which included 11 generals. As for the casualties, Japan had over 95,000 killed and 10,800 captured. The other side, which included the US, UK, Australia, and New Zealand, had 12,000 killed, 39,000 wounded, and 33,000 non-combat losses. Japan lost immensely.
We had many advances in technology during World War II. Some devices that made an impact were radar, radios, and sonar, also aircraft, submarines, and torpedoes. World War II was significant because it created conflict between people and rulers. It showed what happens when advocate rulers take control of major countries. It also showed us how various nations would respond to it. At the end of the war, Hitler committed suicide and we won the war, but at the great cost of lives. World War II has awakened our eyes and showed us the real truth about how horrible war actually is.
Directly overhead, squadrons of dive bombers, our dive bombers, fly towards the island of Okinawa to meet the Japs. We can see the yellow smoke of the gunfire above the battleships. We are passing transports over our starboard and over our port as we plow ahead, headed for the beach and headed for the Jap.
We debarked from our ships. We landed on Okinawa and we had no idea of what kind of resistance we will encounter. There were no Japanese, there were no natives, there was nothing. We made our way immediately to the airport that had been deserted by the Japanese, and we found a good many destroyed planes and bombs, but no resistance. By the end of the second day, we had crossed the island, and that was when our trouble began. Our progress was not by miles and not by hundreds of yards, but practically by inches, because the resistance was very strong. There's not a single one of my team who got away uninjured.
The Battle of Okinawa was one of the bloodiest battles in the Pacific. This battle was a key part leading to Japan's surrender, which signaled the end of the World War II. World War II has changed the political alignment and social structure of the world. Democracy has become prevalent. Today, we still mourn the fatalities from the deadliest conflict in human history, and the impact that the war made on our world will never be forgotten.